Welcome to the Baltimore SharePoint Users Group meeting. As we get things set up, I'm going to share my screen shortly, and we'll get into April's session right away. Okay, as I share my screen and go into presentation mode, welcome to the April edition of the Baltimore SharePoint Users Group. I'm going to get into some announcements, little overview. First of all, what is Baltimore SharePoint Users Group? BSPUG is Maryland's longest running Microsoft-focused community and learning institution. Founded in calendar year 2007. It was created as a community for those who were working with bleeding edge versions of SharePoint 2007 at the time, to get answers that couldn't be found online. So with bleeding edge deployments, there's a lot of, let's say, outside of the box thinking that's needed. There's different solutions, and you need to bounce ideas and perspectives. Otherwise, you just spin your wheels, troubleshooting and testing in what feels like a vacuum or black hole. And so at the time, I was operating as the VP of marketing for SUG DC, SharePoint Users Group of DC. And my coworker at the time said, hey, let's start the group here. And so we used the same model, got it up and running. And since 2007, every calendar month, we've had a meeting. And so at this point, at this particular time, over 4,500 Microsoft professionals that have been trained, let's say gone through certification paths, all presented through resources from this group. And also 23 now, 23 practices that have been started through members of the group. So I'm very proud to see the growth and development of members of our user group. Special thanks to the great folks at ProObject. And ProObject was rated one of the top 100 places to work in the great state of Maryland. And so if you're looking for a SharePoint or Microsoft 365 position, whether private sector or public, please send your resume to tmstaley@proobject.com. That is tmstaley@proobject.com. When we return in person, we will look to meet at ProObject. And as I've said over the years, location is one of the most important metrics or factors in growing a user group community, in that if you don't have your location dialed in, you will struggle to build that audience. And so special thanks to ProObject for hosting us throughout the years. Moving along. In terms of community news and events, there's a few things going on in the community at this time. And so first would be the Community Days site. So what the Community Days site is as I transition to the actual site, it is, first of all, communitydays.org. So why would I go to communitydays.org? So number one, if you're a Microsoft focused professional and you're looking to connect with the latest and greatest community training, then look no further than the communitydays.org site. And so you can see, you can connect with speakers. So the value of community is that you are able to make, let's say, information come to life. And so let's say if you have, let's say, your favorite blogger or most valuable blogger, people who have shared information through YouTube and other platforms, you have the opportunity to meet them in person, as well as attend their community-driven sessions. Many top-notch speakers deliver sessions all around the US, well, all around the world, actually, as I'll show. But that's the value of community. And many of the events have, as part of their agenda and itinerary, ways to connect and, let's say, have a meal afterwards. So being able to talk shop with someone who is notable and helpful to your career is priceless. The other aspect of that is that if you are a speaker, you can join the Community Days events. So event hosts from around the world host their opportunities on this platform. And so communitydays.org. And so, for example, if you wanted to apply to speak at an event, here's the steps to do so. You see the website. So this is essentially your landing page for the event, and then you can submit to be a speaker. So that is communitydays.org. Next, I'm actually excited about this. I'm very happy about this. The Microsoft 365 Philly event is back. And so it will be in person. And so it will be held in Malvern, PA, just outside of Philadelphia, my place of origin. And so let's see, let's check out M365 Philly. And so there's a couple ways to get to this site, but also through Community Days. So as you can see, it's 29 days away. If you want to follow the latest news and notes, you can always use the hashtag M365Philly by going to search.twitter.com. Let's see if this actually works. Let's see. Yes, so they have the search string set up where you can view the latest news and notes around M365 Philly. So May 20th, 2023, it is back. And so back in person for the first time since 2019. COVID has really separated the Microsoft community. Prior to COVID, it was a great, let's say, place to connect and meet and grow and learn and share. And so it is so strange for things to have become so distant. So I'm excited about Microsoft 365 Philly. So go to the communitydays.org site, do a search for M365 Philly 2023, and you can register here. They have an Eventbrite profile set up. And let's see, call for speakers looks to be still open. That closes on May 6th. And so here you have the criteria. both for in person as well as remote. And so they do have a track for remote speakers, which is great. And so what else do you need to know? You can also see what sessions are going to be approved. So as it says, the call for sessions is currently open, but if you want to learn more about what sessions are coming up so that you can plan your activities around your day, then you can just go and view this tab. If you're a vendor, we do have several, as I mentioned, there's 23 Microsoft practices within our group that have been started. So if any of you want to be sponsors for the event, then you can always go here and become a sponsor. You want more information about parking, about dietary needs, for example, you can use contact here. So that is M365 Philly committee event, first time in person since 2019. That is excellent. And so moving on with MVP Summit. And so the MVP Microsoft Valuable Professional is a award or designation that is awarded to professionals around the world who demonstrate a high, let's say, passion and more or less digital footprint for Microsoft technology in different disciplines. So if you are a Power Platform expert, and you want to get out and speak and blog and solve problems in the community, you potentially could become the next Microsoft or MVP. And so each year, the MVP award is given. So it's awarded every year, and it's quantifiable. So you list your accomplishments. I would say from a professional standpoint, of course, a designation such as that is valuable because you gain insider access to the Microsoft product teams, and through NDA, non-disclosure agreement, you maintain those secrets and use those to get out first and more or less serve as an influencer. So it's Microsoft's influencer program. It's been around for 30 years. And continues to grow. So from the 18th to the 20th of this month, the Global MVP Summit was held. Today, of course, was the last day. And so, again, so this is the website where you can see more. So the so this was also in person. So is interesting because you do have to sign a non-disclosure agreement in order to participate. And for the most part, most people, most MVPs stay within those guidelines in order to take part. So that's the MVP Summit. So what you'll see over the next few months are great articles, great videos, great information, great panels based on what the MVPs have learned directly from the Microsoft product team. And so those are community events as a whole. And I'm going to keep moving forward here. Okay, reshare my screen. And so next, we're going to go into some troubleshooting. So raise your hand or put your question in the chat. I can also unmute you as well if you have a question or experience around the Microsoft 365 platform, and open the floor for discussion. There we go. And so I will kick things off. Number one, with the a lesson learned that I had with the org chart web part, the org chart app within SharePoint Online. With the org chart is not, let's say, what you would think it would be, which is the ability to, let's say, dynamically create an org chart. So let's say you have a ad hoc project team where you may have a team lead and you have 4 developers. You may have a junior developer or a junior administrator. It's not designed to create, let's say, teams that are not recognized by the organization. So as a best practice, the first place you need to go is within your admin center and make sure that the user profiles for team members are updated. And so it pulls from Azure AD. And so if your manager, for example, is not updated in terms of who they report to and subordinates, when you pull in the web part, the org chart app or web part, then it's not going to match or reflect. So it's essentially a mirror of your Azure AD setup in terms of the roles and responsibilities. So if you have a requirement where you must create an ad hoc team or a team that is not necessarily recognized within the organization, whether you are a government agency and you have certain contractors, then those are the details you must keep in mind. So you would have to use another solution. Potentially, you would have to more or less use a combination of HTML and build your own, or leverage an existing system or tool that creates third-party tool that creates org charts in itself. So that's my lesson learned from recent engagement with SharePoint Online and the org chart web part. So you can add your question and or experience in the chat, or you can unmute and share those details. Okay, moving along. In our last meeting, we had an excellent presentation delivered by the great Karen Dresky, and the topic was on Microsoft Stream. Now, according to Karen's presentation and where the Stream platform is at this time, there's going to be a new version that will be released, and some, let's say, legacy versions that will be discontinued. And Karen's presentation walked through what you need to know as an administrator, as a decision maker, as a team lead, step by step, in excellent detail. The session was so good that we're going to do a encore replay of that video and share it with the mailing list once again. And because it's absolutely news you need to know. At some point in the near future, we may be, if time permits and schedules align, we may be able to have Karen return to discuss the migration path that end users and organizations need to be aware of when it comes to Microsoft Stream, when it comes to video solutions within the organization, and make sure that you are on top of things. And again, the return of SharePoint Saturday Baltimore, soon to be rebranded, is on the way. Stay tuned. Looking at late summer for a date that will talk to the Brain Trust and begin to put together the schedule for that. In the meantime, enjoy Microsoft 365 Philly and be on the lookout for the return of SPS Baltimore. Okay, on behalf of ProObject and the Baltimore SharePoint Users Group, I'm Shadidi Laser. I thank you for tuning in to this meeting. Join me next month. We'll have a speaker lined up. And thank you for your continued support of our user group community.